how to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept on the graphing calculator. First, let's go ahead and graph a function y equals, and I'm going to clear that here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a new function. So x to the power of 3. Make sure you exit out of the exponent mode by moving here to the right using the arrow, plus 4x to the second, x to the second, and then again exit out of the exponent mode, minus x minus 4. So there we go, we need to change that, x minus 4, okay. And let's go ahead and set the window, if we like our window, -5 to 5, and x scale of 1, and x is 50 to 50. So maybe change the y values here, maybe from -10. Make sure you use this -10 to +10. And I'm going to make my y scale to be a 1 also, not a 10. Okay, well, let's try to graph and see what it looks like and if it gives us enough information. Maybe we need to adjust the window a little bit. No, it looks good. I like that. Okay. So remember, that was a polynomial of the 3rd degree, so we expected to see 2 turns. So we got our 2 turns here. So clearly this picture is really good. So now we are going to find the values of the x-intercept. So I got one here, and one here using the graphing calculator. So we're going to use the button second, which is the blue button right here, second, and we're going to go into the trace menu, and it gives us these options 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. So we will now find the 0, which is option 2. You can either go down to it using this button, or you could just click 2 and it will get you there. So then we say enter. That's what we want, the 0. So it asks you now for the left bound. So here's what that means. You need to bring your blinking cursor to the left of the 0 that you're looking for. So let's say I'm trying to find the value of this 0. What is that 0 on x-axis? So I need to bring this blinking cursor all the way to the left of my 0 using the arrow button. So here we go. All right, once you are where you want to be, I went over a little bit, anywhere to the left is fine. You want to hit enter. And now, once you did this, it asks you for the right bound. So that means you want your blinking cursor to be to the right of the x-intercept. So anywhere to the right is fine. I'm going to click a few times here, so that's to the right. Here's fine, or a little above is fine. Enter. And once you do that, it says guess. So you say enter, which means yes, you want the calculator to guess on the value. And here you go. There's a 0 of x equals -4. Now, similarly, we can find the value of 0 here. So again, remember the menu, second, trace, go to 2. And then it asks you for the left bound again. So now the 0 is here, so left bound means anywhere to the left of that 0. So we're going to bring our blinking cursor a little closer to that x-intercept. Right here is fine. So I hit enter, and then a little bit further to the right. So right here, and then that should be fine. I overdid it a little bit. So right here, and then hit enter and guess. You're saying yes, so the 0 is at -1. And you can of course find this third 0, and it's going to be a +1. Now you can also find the y-intercept, which is this point right here. We're going to use the same menu, second, trace, and we will now use the menu under 1, which is value. So this allows you to find the value of the function, in other words, the value of y at any given point on x-axis. Our y-intercept happens when x value is 0. So I'm going to say x equals 0, or I typed it, but you could just say 0, and then enter. y equals -4. That means the y-intercept is at -4. Now there is another way to find these values without going through guessing on the graph. And to do that, we will use the second graph menu to get to the table. Now this is the table of values for this function. Clearly, we can see that the y value is -4 when x is 0. That's our y-intercept. And we can go a little below the 0 and find out that when y is 0, which is exactly the definition of our x-intercept, x is -4, and it also is -1, and it also is +1 right here, because those are the values when y is 0. So either way is fine. You can find the values using the table or using the guessing on the graph.